Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Torment Tides of Numenera. This is a game that I got a year or so ago, and I haven't played much of it. I've played some of it enough to know that I really like it, and so I thought it'd be fun to Let's Play it for the channel. Two things about this series. One, this is actually being streamed right now on my Patreon Discord server. I can see chat going up right now. If you want to sit in on me recording Let's Plays and chat with me, and even help me make important decisions about the game, go to my Patreon, link in the sidebar and in the description, for all sorts of cool rewards. I've been redoing my Patreon, because I've been rethinking my content, and so, yeah, go check out my Patreon. The other thing is that, much like my Coteries of New York series, this is going to be focused a lot on roleplay and making decisions as a character. So, yeah, just letting you all know what you're getting in for. This is going to be very chill. Going to be a lot of reading because it's an old school CRPG. A lot of reading, a lot of dialogue. So sit back, relax, and let's play. I also went through to sound. There's minimal voice acting. I turned the voiceover off because I enjoy doing the voices myself, and it's one of my favorite parts of Let's Play games like this. Also, sorry, a lot of preliminary stuff, but this is based off the Numenera tabletop RPG, which is a great RPG. It's sci-fi, fantasy stuff, has a lot of really interesting concepts that we'll explore in this video. So, enough of the preamble, let's get started. I'm gonna skip over the loading screens and editing, so if I'm ever deathly silent during those, you know why. Alright, I will be Famale, as usual. Oop. Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Ooh. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you have forgotten something important, as if it once meant the world to you. But the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open. Let's look at our surroundings. A white-pink, fleshy cocoon surrounds you. Even as you look, a minor rent in its side tears open, and the howling wind forces its way inside. Oh, so we're in, like... We have been birthed. The sky has just given birth to us. Also, that is really loud. The cocoon rips away, gone before you can grab it, spinning you into a dizzying tumble. You are falling, the world many kilometers below you. You catch a glimpse of a curved horizon, and also the ground beneath you that is approaching deceptively quickly. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in upon itself, a corona of acid green and black energy playing around its edges. The wind buffets you and burns your eyes, but you don't need to see the details of the faraway ground to know you're in serious trouble. You won't survive a fall from this stratospheric height. A part of your frantic mind babbles that you probably fell from a thermospheric height. Science jokes? Question mark? I don't know science. You struggle to stay focused as the ground rushes towards you. Dive towards the ground. If we're going down swinging. Let's try and catch the wind. Instinctively, you spread your arms and legs, and they respond sluggishly. You stop tumbling head over heels. Though you are still spinning laterally, that motion has calmed as well. and you have space to assess your situation, and perhaps to understand the predicament and the body in which you find yourself. Below you, you see a large landmass. A massive ocean dominates the rest of the visible globe, dotted here and there with island chains. Small moons, unusual structures, and strange machines rush past you in glittering profusion as you plummet toward the ground. Can you tell it's been a while since I did a Let's Play? Trying to remember what happened? It's hazy. You are in a tall passageway, its side slicked with dew, the air warm and moist, as if you were caught in the breath of a giant organism. You remember fleeing in fear and exhilaration, laughing through the terror. What was it that pursued you? Something ancient and cold, its coiling power the promise of oblivion. Its shadowed tendrils struck at you, and the walls where they landed were torn apart utterly, destroyed beyond any hope of repair. You leapt into a membranous cocoon and fell from the station, the moon, and then you were empty. But who were you? What was that creature? A word surfaces in your thoughts, and you seize it before it vanishes. Sorrow. The world fills your sight. You're about to hit. Try and remember the sorrow. It hurts your mind to recall, but you push past it. A creature of a forgotten world seeking you out across the centuries. But it's not you it seeks, is it? It sought the man whose memories you shuffle through now, and you suddenly realize that you are not him. You were... Who were you? Search through the memories. Oh. Game froze. If you somehow manage to sidestep everything you know about anatomy, physics, and death, then you are surprised to realize that you do know something about them. And you survive this fall, you suspect that you might be able to reawaken a dormant strength you sense inside you. But who could possibly survive a fall from this height? You remember reaching an escape tube, and you remember being struck by a tendril of force, and then the fall. The fall! You open your eyes in time to see a riot of color around you, your descent barely slowed, and then agony flares throughout your body as a crunching impact destroys you. The last thing you hear is a rapidly cycling whine of energy. And then... darkness. Ocean man, take me by the hand, lead me. I love that intro. Oh. That's me. Oh, I look cool. Got a side shave and everything. Walking around at the speed of person. Yeah. Thanks, game. Probably is a bad idea to stand there, but I want to do it anyway. Okay. Boel. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. Let's examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Alright, let's Is there anything else we can look at, actually? Nope, we're just... Can we look at the light at all? No. Oh yeah, well, time to push this bowl. Carefully move the bowl beneath the liquid. This is going to use might. I won't... Yeah, okay, so basically the way this works is you have a base chance of success, and you spend points from either might, speed, or intellect to increase it. So... Spending no points at all, we have a 60% chance of moving this bowl safely. Spending 1 of our 5 might points brings it up to 80. Spending 2 brings it up to 100. I'm going to push it to 80. Aha! Also, I'm pretty sure, because I've played the beginning of this game a few times, I'm pretty sure we got a bonus because we actually looked at the bowl. So you gotta use your peepers, everybody. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. With your mind powers. Ooh. God, finally, I've been running out of milk for weeks now. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Oh, hello? Are you still alive down there? We're up here. Build the path up to us and be careful. I think it was too far zoomed in to see the whole thing. Let's zoom out a bit. This game is... Oh look, there's the zoom button. Handy. This game looks amazing. Oh yeah, and the reason I have the voice lines muted is almost every time you click to go to a location, she'll be like, fine, or let's go, and it's so annoying. Oh, Last Cast Off is our name. As soon as you touch the orb... Oh yeah! Yeah, I didn't even think. I was just like, oh, let's touch the weird glowing orb in the mind space. A memory floods your mind. I guess there's not much else to do in the mind space. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell, a bubble of stale air your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves. But this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as well you know, but now he seems distracted. With that filter, the weird thing kind of look like music notes. I wonder if that's foreshadowing. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. Deceive him by telling him that you've heard the sounds of pursuit. We could also threaten him or cast a spell. I feel like I play mages too often, so we're gonna deceive him. Your words echo clearly, and he looks up, surprised, as you cut through his indecisive daze. He grimaces and says, "All right, we'll be through the door before they catch up." His fingers make minute adjustments to the knobs and blinking levers of the device, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies here. lies there. I'm bad at words. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. I don't think disabling the alarm would do anything, because they'd still be like, oh no, the alarm's going off. Oh well, it stopped. I'm sure everything's fine. Screw it. Yeah, let's disable the alarm. See if that helps. That might help. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the jewel force field. Oh, were we removing the force field? Oh yeah, we were disabling the force field. Sorry. I read sonar alarm and sonar... Okay. You remove it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around and you see only the inky blackness of a Piscine eye. I don't know if that's how you say that word. The memory begins to fade, as if you were drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else. A gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. I'm sure it's fine. We're just being chased by a sentient evil force inside our mind palace. It's fine. Is this a palace? I don't know if this practically counts as a palace. Oh, this is cool. Ooh, what are these things? The light around the door's frame dims and flares, like a roaring fire in a high wind. What's this? Nope, let me read the thing. Show me the text box. I want to read. Want to read your lore, game? Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of this door. Someone made a great effort to get inside, to no avail. Okay, now can I read the thing? Behind this... Okay. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronzed, segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. Okay, so I can use the mouse to... Okay. That's handy. Okay. Alright, now that I know that, let's look at the orb. Whoosh. You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we found? Draw her attention to the hidden details, use your charm to persuade her, or convince her with the wisdom of your superior intellect. I'm going to say to the hidden details. Draw her attention to the hidden details that our more experienced eye can clearly see. You shade your eyes against the bright sun so that you can point out the thin bands radiating out from the metallic disc, how the energy from those bands affects the local fauna, suggesting an enormous source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound? Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up on your resonance scans? Ah yes, I too am a Star Trek fan. She waits for your affirmation and says, "Alright, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. So are we, entirely terraforming this mountain? Or are we just, building a hole to hide in, the first time you play Minecraft? Drawing schematics and architectural diagrams, then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task. Okay, so the mountain is going to be a more permanent shelter, but we also need a short-term one. Makes sense. Okay. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Ah, man. I should have recorded that on Mayday. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Let's look at the Let's not jump right to the disk. Let's examine the construct itself for mechanical faults. Everything resolves into sharp focus, and you see that the servitor's rear actuators are corrupted. You dig into the construct's back. It seems not to mind as long as you don't interfere with its task. Deftly, you reset the actuators and see energy spark into disused portions of the construct's brain. The construct resumes its work, and this time it listens when you speak to it. Acknowledged. It immediately trundles to the side of your new shelter. I like to imagine they walk like penguins, just acknowledge, little penguin boys. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, block by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your hand. Reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing, and is hunting you. I'm sure we'll be fine. Whoosh! More orb friends. Is this how hypnotherapy works? Whoosh! A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city, in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. You know, like an army. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn toward the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One of them is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. Oh, whoa. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor and holding a hilt with a sizzling, invisible blade. Also a woe. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. Let's... So, trade blows with the giant. Duck under the giant's swing and attack before he can strike. fight defensively, and figure out who presents the greater threat. I'm gonna go with number 3, fight defensively until we know who's more important. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing, it's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is worrisome still. The energy field that flickers and wavers around it suggests that she can carve matter at the molecular level, tearing pieces of her target into nothingness. If you are to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you, and her eyes rove behind you, her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger up under her chin. Brutal. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant, and he topples, bisected. God, we're cool. The immediate threat ended, you focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Hurl yourself against the door and knock him to the ground. Just Leroy Jenkins it. Crack the door open to sneak past them, or charge through them, counting on your defenses to protect you. Actually, number 3 sounds more like the Leroy Jenkins option. Option 1 sounds more like ram against the door, knock him out, giving you time to run. I'm gonna do that. Hurl yourself against the door and knock them to the ground. You charge through the dim shadows, dropping your shoulder into the door at the last minute. It bursts open. Halfway through its arc, it crashes into a pair of enemy I'm good at words. It crashes into the pair of enemy soldiers, scattering them. Oh, it's a pair? No, that's fine. You race through the door, blade in hand, and you dispatch your stunned foes before they have a chance to move. Their blood begins to pool in the hallway. That was brutal. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb at the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Uh-oh. A mirror moving on its own is always a good thing. Nothing bad has ever happened in fiction when a mirror moves on its own. Oh, this is the mirror. I thought that was the mirror for some reason. Yes. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols. Daggers, masks. That bowl is probably flooded by now. We should probably finish these mysteries before this entire room is flooded with glowing milk. Daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You sigh with relief to discover that you are, in fact, hot. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. This is the self-cessed ending. Have fun. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. So we have a side shave and a face tattoo and wear warrior. That is ridiculously in their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs, and the choices you made, shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and a slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling towards the ceiling. Alright, so we're either going to be clever or observant. Let's look. The doppelganger makes its way over to you. It's about to speak when a thuggish figure charges out of the crowd and shakes his knife in the doppelganger's face. Speaking in your voice, the doppelganger raises a calming hand, appealing to the thug's better nature with a combination of disarming wit and outright lies. Scowling, the thug lowers his knife and apologizes to the doppelganger for trouble. I'm very good at words. The doppelganger turns to you, waiting for your decision. I want to consider the other choices. Let's see what this observant fellow is like. Point at the I keep saying goppeldanger. It sounds like a slur. Are you hanging out with those gobbeldangers? Sliding around the edge of the unruly crowd, the doppelganger cautions you to silence with a finger at its lips. Together, you scan the room and its inhabitants, noting every potential hazard, and hearing every drip of strange liquid in the depths beneath your feet. Quietly, the doppelganger waits for your decision. Ah, dang it. Those are my two favorite things. I like high perception characters, and I like high wits characters. Ah, no. Normally I'd put this to a vote, but none of the patrons who can vote are available right now. Ay, dang it. I'm gonna roll a... nah, I want to be clever. I'm gonna be clever for this route. Yeah, we already read that. That is who I am. Whoosh! The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face reflects confidence and cleverness. Shadows of weapons flicker in and out of its hands, and a few devices shimmer on its belt. You get the feeling you, would be comfortable in a variety of situations. The word Jack sounds in your mind. So, basically, the game will explain it in a tutorial, but there are 3 classes. Glaive, which is to massively oversimplify. You have the Glaive, which is a fighter, the Nano, which is a mage, and the Jack, who's kind of a rogue. They're Jack of all trades, hence the name. And while there are only 3 classes, your character also has a descriptor, which ours is clever, and a focus, which is a unique power they have. So, a sneaky fighter who murders is completely different from a brash fighter who howls at the moon, you know? Which is a really cool system, I think. God, I hope Howls at the Moon is in this game. I'd love to be a werewolf. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. This game is way hornier than I thought it would be. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell, if bells could rot. Something is coming. I've always loved the phrase, it's like a bell if bells could rot. I love the writing of this game. I'm really excited to play CRPGs like this, because I know I've said before I like my videos to be where you can have them open in another tab and just listen to them. Games like this are perfect for it, because a lot of the action is described in text, which I love. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Character creation. The only reason I haven't disabled tutorials is because I'm worried that I haven't played enough of the game to get all the mechanics. God, look at us. We're so cool. So we are Jack. Jacks are intrepid explorers and adventurers. They are Jacks of all trades, hence the name. although the word also harkens back to fables involving a wily, resourceful hero who always seems to be named Jack. Yeah, it does. I think Fables, the comic series, has a character who's named Jack, and it turns out he's all of them. He's in every single story like that. Jacks are at their best when they combine weapons, armor, esoteries, spells, ciphers, cool devices, and a clever tongue. They are treasure hunters, grifters, scouts, rogues, and experts in a variety of fields. I don't know if y'all know this about me. I have a weird love for con artist characters and like liars and stuff. So I'm absolutely playing this character like a con artist because I think it's super fun. So yeah, you have might, character's physical strength and resilience. It also increases our health. Speed, dexterity and reaction times. Increases our evasion, which I think is our dodge, and our intellect, the character's mental prowess, willpower, and personality. We got 4 points. I could boost our intellect pool to 10. Like I said, this won't, like... The way that the system works is that you spend points. So it's not like D&D where this makes a modifier. It's not like Fallout where we need to roll under a certain number. It's just these are points you can spend. I'm definitely going to increase it by 2. Let's do speed. Yeah, let's go intellect 10. Why not? Boop. Yep, and we have cool abilities we can use. Trained without armor. Ooh, that's nice. No armor or light armor. Interesting. Hedge magic. Basically, you just automatically see. I keep trying to give descriptions from the tabletop game, but they're probably different in this. Quick fingers or smashing task. So basically, you just spend 2 intellect and you do a cool minor thing. Sucker punch, nice. Attacks that deals weapon damage +3. If the target has a negative fettle, that's a stat. I don't know why they call it a fettle. Okay. So daze any target with who already has a negative status. Infuse weapon. Nice. Practice in armor. We get 2. I want trained without armor, so we can be unassuming. It's sucker punch, because that feels like that's basically a low blow, which feels very much in line with who we're playing. Character crit. Oh yeah. These are exploration skills. So what skills do is they add. They make skill checks easier before you spend things. I'm good at words. So we already have one in deception because we are a clever girl. We actually take a penalty to mystical lore and mechanical lore. I want to say the finely honed ability to break things. Okay, so we have quick fingers, fine motor control, intimidation, concentration, persuasion, quick fingers or persuasion, one of those two. We already have deception, let's go quick fingers. We don't know how to use weapons because we're not a glaive. And our descriptor, we could change it at this point, but since I like to do the role-playing stuff, we're just gonna go with clever. So, we are a terrible little goblin child and no one likes us. Welcome to Tides of Numenera.